Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of Big Time Auto Racing, the podcast that consists of two full-time Cars Tour late model stock drivers, and we kind of just, call things like we see it and discuss the past weekend's race and the track. And throughout the year, we've kept track of every racetrack, the ratings, and we have a 5-category rating scale every week that we do. And we're going to be reviewing some of the tracks we've done all year. Like today, I did a little bit of homework and went back and looked at all of our scores and all sorts of good stuff. So I'm going to shed some light on a little bit of that today. Man, how you feeling? We're getting pretty close to the end of the year here.
Yeah, man, I'm not going to lie. It'll, like me and you talked, this isn't going to be the end of the content we're bringing you guys. We're going to definitely film some stuff in the off season, but I think it's going to be nice for all of us to kind of get away from it a little bit. We all love it, but especially around this car tour, man. I mean, it's tough. It's grueling weeks and a grueling season. So a little bit of time off never hurt anybody.
Yeah. I always look forward. This time of year is one of my favorite times of the year. I love the early parts of fall, and that time's a great time to do some golfing, some bow hunting. Beer drinking. And speaking of beer drinking, we did a lot of beer drinking after the race at Tri-County Saturday. I brought my camper up there, the Deer Camp Chateau, the Twisted Squire, whatever you want to call it. The mobile neon mobile or shack, whatever you want to call
neon
it.
Shack.
It's got a lot of names, but it don't matter because it's really just an old camper. It's like a 1969 actually. I believe is what he said. A 69 camper? No. Maybe it's older than that or younger than that. I don't remember, but it is pretty old. We restored it, turned it into a area to party trackside at Tri-County. It's one of the greatest tracks in the whole damn nation to watch a race trackside from, especially now that it's so multi-groove and all that good stuff. A great place to watch racing from. They've done a lot of upgrades, and the reason I'm shedding a lot of light on it is because we're about to do some ratings. And that rating system consists of 5 categories, and you guys know the deal: configuration and condition, phone signal, concessions, facilities and shitters, city and nightlife / food. And we've already done Tri-County this year. And something we do when we go to a track twice is we rate it twice and then take the average of both, because you might like Tri-County better in the summer than you do the fall, or vice versa. However, Tri-County this time for me, I do believe, has been upgraded a lot because they've added lights since we've been there last, which is crazy to even say that. They have actually added lights, LED lights, those cool lights that dance around the track and all that good stuff. We got to have a little bit of an experience with a party. The racing was good. I would say it was dominated this time by Butterbean. So like the finish wasn't as exciting as it was for $30,000 earlier this year. However, the racing was still good, like it always is at Tri-County, and not just in the late model stock race, but the shit show of a pro late model race that there was. And there was also a lot of cars in the street stock race that Boo put on. 28 cars, I believe, was entered for it. I don't know how many ended up starting, but there was a lot of cars there regardless. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, 28 were entered. I think I talked to Boo and Mama Judy and Fred. I think they ended up having 21 start because one broke in practice.
Okay. Yeah.
So had a few that didn't make the trip, but still.
Right. Still a great.
Absolutely
great turnout for the GXS Street Stock Series put on by Boo Carlisle. Let's go ahead and get into our ratings, Brandon. We've got we'll start off with configuration and condition, just like we do all week. The first time we did Tri-County, it got a 6.8.
Yep.
Which could change today. But go ahead and start us off. Yeah, go ahead and start us off. I have a good feeling it is too.
Yeah, man. I've actually got our first ratings, broke down right here beside me, and like I said, I know some of mine are going to change, and some for the better. So on configuration and condition, I'm going to give it a 9. Mainly because now, which it was when we went back as well, but it is fully paved now.
Mm-hmm.
They have done an absolutely fantastic job with the facility, and like you touched on, man, the lights, that probably was my only, I wouldn't even say flaw or gripe, but the lighting was not the greatest in the past.
Right.
and it almost caused a few big wrecks at the 30,000 race for guys running out of gas and some sightline issues. But the upgrades have been awesome, and so for this round 2, I'm going to give it a 9 on configuration and condition.
I'd have to agree with that. A 9 is the same score I gave it. Really good. The asphalt it's repaved, and that's going to make it really grippy and typically one lane. But with it being, the raceability there is you see it get spread out. It's really, really, really hard to pass if you're not way better than someone. I'm not going to say it's a track you're going to see an absolute shit ton of passing at, especially if there's a dominant car. So I can't give it that 10. That it could have potentially, but configuration and conditions, speaking on that in general, the configuration of the track's awesome. It's going to be, I think, that over the next 5 years, like we've said before, it's going to be some of the best racing, as it wears down a little bit and the tire wear comes into play a little bit. I think it'll be better. But conditions wise, obviously it's pretty much immaculate. They've, upgraded, they just repaved it. So you can't really say anything negative about the condition. And something that also helps it, in my opinion, which is technically an imperfection, but just the bumps and stuff around the track, kind of in the middle of the track, you can feel some bumps on exit in both corners, and kind of it affects how the car handles, and it don't get super one grooved like Dominion or something like that does. So have to give them props for that for sure. So 9 for me as well. How about phone signal? How was your phone signal?
So Friday we had the all of a sudden mischievous hailstorm that showed up.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll get into that after we do ratings, but that was crazy.
Yeah. So mine struggled that day, but race day, it wasn't terrible. Wasn't anything to write home about, but it wasn't terrible. So I'm gonna give it a 6. I think I gave it a little bit better than that our first go around, but like I said, it was really bad Friday, and then Saturday, like I said, it wasn't like premium by any means. I had a few issues. I could still pretty much do what I wanted to do, but so I felt like 6 was probably pretty fair.
Yeah, mine sucked both days. I do have Verizon though, so it typically does suck at a lot of places. So I kind of have to be the Debbie Downer on this part of the scoring deal every time, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for the most part. But even there was, I'll just stick with a 5. A 5 kind of right down the road. I know it's worked there before. It just wasn't working, so I don't know what was really the deal, if it had something to do with a storm or if it was just Verizon, or who the hell knows. Anyways, mine wasn't great, so I'm going to go with a 5. Up next, we got concessions. All I ate this time was a hot dog once again, but I ate one last time too, and they were, kind of same deal. It's very edible. No complaints on it. We cooked a lot this weekend. My mom cooked a lot of burgers. She even cooked them for all booze officials and stuff this weekend. So we ate usually just out of the trailer all weekend. So I can't give it an accurate score, really. I'm just kind of going to go off of what I did last time. So what did I give it last time? You got it pulled up still?
Last time you actually gave it a 6.
Okay, so we'll just stick with a 6. That way I don't change the scale up, because I didn't eat any more than I did last time.
Yeah. So I'm going to go 7 because the hot dog, so compared to last time. So I'm going to go 7. So yeah, I think, and I will give them this, and this was important too. If you're a racetrack and you're listening, and I understand that somebody's got to run it, and obviously that means paying that person to do it, but us racers, I feel like I can speak for everybody involved, and families and crew members and stuff. It was cool that even with the storm on Friday, because obviously when that happened, there wasn't much going on. So I'm sure they probably did a pretty good amount of money during that time. They were open on Friday. So
yeah, that's a huge deal. Definitely big pat on the back for that. That should always be a thing, is opening up on when a car store comes to practice. You can make some money on Fridays for sure. So that definitely helps. Unfortunately, I didn't eat much this time around, and there wasn't nothing crazy special going on. It didn't seem like there's no signature meal there, kind of like there has been at the last few. So even though it's very clean, very edible, and there's lots of options, I didn't give it a great, it's not a great score by no means, but it doesn't mean it's not, you can go there and get your belly full, that's for sure, before a race day. So No hate on it. Facilities and shitters. So Tri-County has the infamous trough where it's close to the door, and when someone walks in and you're sitting there with a slight tilt to the left, on the left-hand side, you're a big dog, and that's just kind of, you can measure. And I had people tell me throughout the day, like, hey man, when I go in there now, I think about where I stand at this urinal or the trough. And it's just a thing, man. It's just a mindset.
You said that because I actually paid attention to that. It's like since we did our first round one on this deal,
Yeah.
that like I would walk in there and say the trough's got a dude, far right, and then
Oh yeah,
I don't know, probably 2 shoulders over from him or whatever. So the end's open.
you can tell he's not an alpha male if he's on the
shit.
right end.
Yeah, well, I didn't give a shit. I'm like, dude, I got pissed. So I went,
Yeah.
But you got people standing outside, and I'm like,
Right.
Guess they listen to round one to Beatard.
Yeah. I went both ways. I was left urinal guy and I was right urinal guy on multiple different occasions. I probably took maybe 6 to 8 pisses throughout the weekend, and at the racetrack I should say, maybe more than that, maybe 8 to 10, and I'd alternate it almost every time. I never touched the stalls. There was no shit mountains this week. Snow-capped shit mountains are a very, very popular thing at the racetracks around the southeast, especially when all these nasty ass tire guys get done with their work and they go eat all the lunch food and then they go in there and tear up the stalls. Yeah, it's the same ones every week. But no doubt, no snow-capped shit mountains this time, so that was good. And anytime you can say that, it's nice, right? But I did not go inspect the stalls very, very thoroughly, but very otherwise clean, easy access, gives you an opportunity to show your manhood if you want to. You can't really complain with those bathrooms. And the facilities, this is where you kind of, I guess, include the lighting and all that good stuff and everything else around there, because the facilities and things that they've done, and the trackside parking and all that is really, really good. Like the lights itself are
phenomenal.
Among only 2 tracks that are doing that now. Langley,
the only place
that you can race weekly.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, weekly, yes.
Weekly tracks. There's only 2 now, and or at least to my knowledge, and there might be a couple more, at least in the southeast, but definitely North Carolina. So it's really cool, man. It's cool to see them do that. I know that's obviously a pretty big investment, and I'm sure that had something to do with the governor funding deal. You'd imagine, maybe not. But they did get something out of that, I believe, quite a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but if they didn't, even more of a tip of the cap to them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. But nonetheless, it may not even been used. I mean, they paved the track also, so they may have used all that for the track paving, and then this other stuff is just revenue or investment that they're putting into it. But the Higgins family has done a great job with the racetrack all around. They probably won't be opening an auto glass company anytime soon, I wouldn't imagine. They might not. Their marketing campaign for front windshields isn't of great standing at the moment, but great people let us hang out with the camper and all that good stuff. So it was really fun, and so I'm going to now. Got to hold your horses, because it's not like it's the nicest bathroom in the world. Okay, it's not. It's not Florence, and it's definitely not Wilkesboro or Dominion or nothing like that.
Right.
But the facilities have upgraded themselves so much. I'm giving them the first ever facilities 10.
I hear you.
Because of the trackside, all that stuff, man. Like, it ain't perfect. They need like the stands could be taller, right? There could be more stuff in that area. But the trackside stuff's so fun, and it was so it was well ran, organized. Everybody's having a good time and stuff. So giving them a 10. Also because you get to kind of show off your manhood a little bit in the bathrooms.
Yeah. So I'm gonna join you. I was teetering, and anybody who's followed us, we don't do half score. We don't do any decimal. So as far as on our rating,
right.
So I'm gonna give it a 10 as well, and also too because, as we said, we decided to bring the Twisted Squire / Neon Road Shack.
Yeah.
And they let us stay as long as we wanted. They cut the lights out, but they left the gates open for us. We were very accommodating with our trash, and it was really cool to just kind of socialize with some
Well, you just
fellow
can't beat
competitors.
trackside. You can't beat trackside parking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you are a racetrack and you have the ability to make that available, you got to do it. Obviously you can't do it at Florence. Everybody will die.
Right.
But like, you know what I mean? They don't have walls, so it's that's understandable. Okay, but the any track that there's places I think in 3 and 4 at Hickory that could be utilized more for trackside parking. Even though the views aren't great at Hickory from that area, it's still really fun. I've watched plenty of races from there. It'd be cool to see that be more of a thing, and maybe even continue it onto the back stretch. I don't know what that would take. I'm sure they've looked into it at some point, and maybe there's something that's preventing it from happening. But that's one track that could definitely have it. I mean, but there was a lot of tracks this year that had, and one that I failed to mention a lot was South Boston. South Boston had some great trackside partying too. Very comparable to Tri-County. Tri-County and South Boston are similar tracks. It looks like they have a lot of, I think South Boston has a lot more funding, at least they have in years past. But up until this point, Tri-County has done it without NASCAR's help at all. So that's something to tip your hat to a little bit, right?
Like 100%.
They've never had any of the corporate help. They've kind of done it on their own. It's all local sponsors on the walls and stuff. So big tip of the cap to them. I think that's too well deserved. 10 city and nightlife / food. Yeah. So this one's always tough. The first time around, I know I gave it a low score because there's really nothing to do in that general area. However, this time of year, those mountains are some pretty mountains. And the leaves are changing colors right now. The weather's great. The sunsets look really cool in that area. It's only a 20-minute or so drive to Hickory, which I gave like a 9 earlier this year. So I can't really say anything too bad about it. Even though last time, I know, I gave it a bad score. But that's when it was hotter than shit, humid, all the trees were green. I didn't give a shit about no damn mountains to look at. It was just so fucking hot, I didn't care. But now, I'm just happy go lucky. It's cool outside. The damn trees are changing colors. So I'm giving it an 8 this time around.
I'm right there with you. And, I mean, I guess we technically, not trying to sound cocky or anything, but we would contribute this time in this scenario, which it's a scenario-by-scenario basis.
Yeah.
To the nightlife aspect.
We did. We contributed well to the nightlife aspect this time. We were the nightlife in Hudson.
I mean, I know when I was warming up under pace laps and under caution, I could see the neon signs up at the Twisted Squire.
Yep. So. Oh, no, I definitely could see it. I paid attention to it probably more often than I should. But it was, it was a cool deal for sure. We had it looking great. Hopefully you guys got to pay attention to a little bit of that. So now I can do the quick math.
Yeah.
Okay, so after averaging out our 2 new scores and our 2 scores from last time all together, the final average score for Tri-County for this season is a 7.3, which puts it pretty high up in the ratings. Where does that put it exactly on the list? That puts it
P6.
P6, okay, so just behind Sobo and Wake, but ahead of Goodyear, Dominion, Tri-County.
0.3 puts it in our top 3. So I mean they're right there.
Yeah. The Wilkesboro, Florence, Langley, Sobo, Wake top 5 are all 0.1. The difference between first and fifth is 0.4 points. So it's about the closeness of the field of our deal is about as close as the car store field in general. It's just that's how it's gonna be all year. So try to get it too. You'll have that. But overall, 7.3. I think it's a great score, especially for a track that's been kind of scratching and clawing to become one of the nicer facilities and open some eyes. I mean, obviously they've been putting on a lot of races and stuff like that. Their car counts are getting really good. So they have their ups and downs for sure, just like every other track. But
and I want to say this to echo what Dylan's saying, and I apologize if I botched their names, and I'm not even going to try to say the other one because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 brothers, right? And I know Shad is one of them. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not sure.
Shad and Shane.
Okay, so every time we get there, man, I mean, like I've been there to test. Mm-hmm. Hey, do you need anything? Can we do anything for you? You guys good on ice and water? Yeah. I mean, they offer anything and everything to you. And I guess just to not get too carried away with it, they make you feel like they want you there. Mm-hmm. And it's genuine.
Right. No,
and I enjoy going and spending my hard-earned dime at a place like that. And that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a cool ass racetrack. And they've done a really good job promoting it and stuff. It seems like it'll be a staple of North Carolina late model stock racing for years to come. Because
Yeah.
they have just repaved it. They just put new lights in. That is not investments you make if it's a 5-year plan for you. That's a 25-year plan. That's a track that you could see progress in the ranks of even more series. You could see, I could definitely see some big modified tour races there. I could see some eventual ARCA races or something along that for however long that series actually lasts. If not that series, then even something bigger than that. Maybe the pit road isn't adequate for it, but who needs pit road at a short track race? So at least a live one. We can deal without live pit stops for short track races, but not for cup races. Moving on, there was a very eventful race at this racetrack this weekend, Brandon. One of them was ours. The other very eventful race, which was definitely more eventful than ours, was the Pro Late Model race. And before we get into our recaps and stuff, you want to talk a little bit about that? And like, man, that was a lot of torn up stuff and a crazy finish. It started off with Katie Hettinger was leading the race. Caden Quaffle had to start in the rear. I guess something happened in tech. I think he qualified on the pole, right? Or at least way up front.
Or something like that, yeah.
He qualified way up front, had to start in the rear. I'm not sure if it was a pole or not. Regardless, started in the rear, drove to the front, put Katie in a fence. Well,
Dylan and I was standing at Dylan's trailer, as I do normally at most of these races. Us just trying to kind of be buddies and keep the mood loose and light before we, strap in and give it hell. And Dylan's trailer was parked right off of turn 2, and it had like the perfect amount of view of the early section of the backstretch, the first third of the backstretch. Well, as he and I turned around, you could totally tell that there was contact made, and both of us made the oh shit face.
Yeah, we knew they weren't going to make it to the corner.
Yep.
But he kind of leaned on her for 3 or 4 laps before that.
Oh, yeah. There was definitely a nice donut on the 08.
And I think she was kind of expecting it to happen again. So as soon as it happened, she turned away from the wall, and it just locked their wheels, and off she went.
She went for a ride, yeah.
She tore a rear clip off there, and then she put a tire on it and went back out there and right hooked him on the restart and front clipped it. So,
yeah,
I mean, you'll have that, I guess. Doesn't seem like a decision that she made herself personally. It seems like something that was told for her to do on the radio or something. But what do I know? But yeah, it's unfortunate to see that.
Pleased with that.
Yeah, it sucks to see that because it's just not a good. It's not a good example because at that point you're just. And also I don't know. There could be. You can say whatever you want about it. You're gonna get mad. And you're going to do stupid shit in your life. But, I think it's just learning experiences. We can sit here and bash on them like we would do any different. But, hell, if my dumb ass got wrecked, I'd probably go wreck the shit out of somebody too. So I can't say much. I ain't going to play like I'm all high and mighty. So I get it. I get the frustration. I've been that mad. It sucks to see it because, somebody's got to pay for that. And somebody's also got to work on that and all that good stuff. To be fair,
right.
There's probably 15 full-time employees on both of those cars, so it doesn't really matter. This particular race with these particular teams doesn't really affect me very much because, like I said, they're gonna fix it. It's gonna be fine. They'll buy it. Like they'll fix it up. It ain't no big deal. They all got. That's their job is to fix them. However, if it was a different scenario, you might have a more emotional opinion on it, but that's just how it is. That's sometimes shit happens. You get mad.
Yeah, I guess the other note though on that whole situation is the points battle, which I think is what
right.
Was a lot of the spectacle of it.
Well, they've been they've been kind of beefing all year. They've been kind of.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they've been beefing all year. But the crazy thing is, all right. So let me, Katie front and rear clips her car. Caden gets wrecked a couple of times throughout this process. The 9 car of Ashton Higgins inherits the lead and had a pretty good lead for most of the race there. And then the 25 car of Gavin Bushell
Michelle.
called him, and he just wrecked the shit out of him. I don't really know how else to put it. Like, I mean, I was gonna say he just really drove in hard and got up into him and stayed in, but yeah, I mean, he wrecked him. I don't know if he meant to actually like wreck him that hard. I think he's probably not been in that position before. And live and learn. But yeah, and he dealt with the consequences. He had a shoe on his windshield. He got a fist from Ashton on the Lexan windshield, which probably hurt a little bit. Hopefully he didn't get a brace, but made his point. I thought it was fair. The girlfriend flipped the bird pretty good. I don't know if you've seen that on the video. She put a nice bird in there, so good for her. She gave him a good bird. And he got the race taken away from him and drilled on Twitter probably for the next month. So, it's one of those things. Like, we can all sit here. I feel like there's going to be 100 podcasts this week that are all
talking about
fuck how them kids race. They wreck each other and they don't give a shit about equipment and their parents don't teach them right. Well, I mean, it's not like it used to be, right? Like, they don't learn things kind of like how people used to. I feel like I'm kind of in that tweener group. It could be probably widely accepted to where I would have been taught to run over everyone. And they'd just been like, yep, hell, he's just raised tough, so be it. Or I could be very clean, like I most of the time am, and they'd be like, yeah, well, he was raised with respect and knows that if he tears his car up, he's going to have to fix it. Which is the common thing, but it's just, there's no right or wrong answer to it. It's not the way I would want to be raced, obviously, or anybody needs to be raced. He flat out dumped him. He got the race taken away from him. But people take it pretty far on Twitter and podcasts and tell how bad of people they are and that they don't need to be in a race car and all that. And I mean, Jesus. I mean, we're talking about 15-year-old kids here. If they'll learn. He's going to be pissed off at himself. I'm sure his dad's mad at him for wrecking the guy like hell or whatever, or he's going for it, So don't be so damn hard on the kids. However, if Ashton, I don't know how old Ashton is. I imagine he's probably above 18, so he couldn't really do anything about it. Nor could the dad or whatever that jumped on the hood. So, it's a sketchy situation, right? Like, I mean, you hate to see that, but anyway, Caden inherited the win because the two leaders wrecked after Caden came back to the field after getting intentionally wrecked after wrecking Katie. So,
yeah,
it was a damn crazy series of events. But I mean, like I said, man, podcasts are for opinions, right? We're supposed to give. I mean, I guess we could just report on it, but I don't really have an opinion on any negative opinions on anybody. Like, yeah, I'd be mad as shit if I was Ashton Higgins for sure. Yeah. I'd be mad as shit if I was Katie Hettinger. I would be mad if I was Katie Hettinger's sponsor. I'd be mad if I was. Well, Caden, he's getting booed like hell. That was the only problem. I mean, that was crazy, right? Because I mean, he did wreck Katie early, but he's not the one that wrecked the track owner's son to win the. You know what I'm like? I'm not pulling that card. I'm just saying, like, you would think that if you wreck the track owner's son, you're probably going to get booed when you get out and celebrate. But that's not even the one that got out and celebrated. So I think the crowd might have got confused a little bit. They might have thought that Caden was the one that wrecked Ashton, and that's why they were booing so hard. I don't think they was booing so hard because of him wrecking Katie. And I might be wrong, but that's kind of the way it seems to me.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I mean, I think so. Here's my take on it, and I mean, not taking like oh God, let's frame Brandon's take on it, like what you're saying. I personally, standing in your pit stall, as I previously touched on, thought that Caden, if we're just wrecked the shit out of her, if we're being honest.
That's what it looked like. I mean,
after going back and seeing it, I personally think, like you said,
she was trying to defend, and he took the bait.
She was preparing for the previous contact.
Yeah.
So instead of getting as tight to the wall, she left a little bit of room there, and I don't blame her.
And as soon as she seen him dart right, she did left.
Right. And I think her thinking, okay, if I can get a run here off of 2 and he does that again, it's going to fuck him more than it does me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I agree.
Maybe even send him in the inside wall, whatever. Hit wheels, whatever. Well, I think like what me and you talked about, whereas it ended up being momentum coming together. And I think when that happened, though, it almost was like she kind of gave up on it, like on the contact.
Yeah.
And I think that's what shot her in the fence, and then we all saw everybody pile in there. So
yeah,
it was unfortunate.
And
Because
hitting
up to
wheels
that
can do
point-
some crazy things to you too. Like people don't realize how hard it jerks out of your hands when you hit
Oh,
wheels,
yeah.
especially in those
And
cars.
it was unfortunate, that one, and then of course the one, like in my opinion, that I thought was kind of a little more wrong, which was the one at the end of the race, because
Yeah.
it had all the potential to be two of the best pro late model races I've seen, and what I'm following is the one that was at South Boston when
for the same race 2 years in a row though at Tri-County. Remember last year Sawalich was wrecked like hell too on exit, and then same thing happened this year. Just intentionally hardcore wrecked off of 4 for the win, and both years. But last year they let him keep the win, right?
They did.
Yeah, and then this year they didn't. So
yeah,
that guy made a new rule, I guess.
I think my issue with it was, like I said, hindsight's always 20/20. So like me and you were standing there together. Ashton and him, they ran side by side for, God, it seemed like, what was it, 10, 15 laps? I mean, like, Ashton was committed to the top and Gavin was committed to the bottom third/middle.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there thinking, in the closing laps, I'm like, if he's close enough, he's probably going to do it.
Right.
But I'm like, at least do it on entry and give the guy a chance. When they went out of mine in your sight, the 25 was still in the middle and Ashton was up top. Well, then me and you just could tell by the crowd's reaction that he wrecked the shit out.
Yeah, we both seen the crowd stand up and said, they wrecked like hell. So we took off running and watched them fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was wild, but it's entertainment too. We can all bitch at it all we want and say, oh my God, that's terrible how he raced like that. Well, shit. They got some views now because it was crazy.
Our viewership is up this week for sure.
Every now and then it's okay for some shit to go down. I mean, god dang, you don't have to set, it's not his final judgment day. That kid's going to have many more opportunities to make amends on that race, and he might race people clean from here on out because he hated how it worked out. He's obvious. It's just one of the, I mean, he's a 15-year-old kid, so it does get on my nerves a little bit when I see grown-ass adults just sitting there on social media just saying, oh, that kid should never be in a race car. He doesn't deserve it. Just because he, does one thing that's a bonehead move. Was it a bonehead move? For sure. But, I mean, god dang, he's a kid. He's going to learn. He'll get better. He might get worse, but if he gets worse, eventually he'll be 18 and somebody will teach him to not do it anymore, But
yeah, that's right.
Until then, I don't see, yes. Should he get penalized for it and not win the race? Absolutely. Should it affect him throughout the rest of the season probation-wise? For sure, even though there's only one race yet left. Should it carry on to next season? Maybe. Maybe it should be an 8-race probationary period or whatever. I don't know. But nonetheless, I mean, probably ease up on him a little bit. I mean, god dang. I've seen some of the people, I'm like, holy shit, you're a 45-year-old man. You want to beat the hell out of a kid. Well, how about you just look in the mirror for a minute here and pump the brakes? God dang, we got.
Yeah, I'm with you. And on the flip side, though, like for me, I am with the whole passion from the Higgins. Ashton.
Oh yeah, I totally understand their reaction too.
Yeah,
they're fine. I mean, theirs is warranted. Ashton can be as mad as he wants, and so can the whole family and everybody. That's totally warranted. They can beat the hell out of each other if they want to, beside the car like they did. Go for it. Fights are good sometimes, right? It needs to happen. When something like that happens, there probably should be a fight. But, that's limited to those two families to hate each other, not the rest. So they'll make up one day, I'm sure. Something will, that's just how it goes. It's just one of those things, man. Ain't nobody. Some people take it a little too damn to heart when something like that happens. But I don't know. I guess maybe I shouldn't be reading comments about that kind of stuff. I mean, I definitely don't really pay attention to a lot of it, but, definitely when I see, like, something like that involves a kid or whatever, I would put myself in his shoes and be like, if I was 15 years old and I had a chance to win a Cars Tour race and all I had to do is wreck the hell out of somebody else to do it, would I have done it? You're probably damn right. I probably would have done it at 15 years old. Maybe not now, but at 15 I probably would have. So, just how it goes, man. Everybody's, hindsight's always 20/20, and everybody can do shit better from the outside looking in. So, I wouldn't go too hard on the guy, that's for sure. Aside from all that, not to vent a little, not really venting. We're just State of the Union, right? So we're just giving everybody a State of the Union, what's going on, what the talk in the Cars Tour is right now, what the rumor mill is, and all that good stuff. But we also raced. So we had a 125 lapper at the old Tri-County Motor Speedway. Both of us were pretty eager to get back to Tri-County, I think, after our results in the first one. We were both just outside the top 10 in the first one, so I think you were, 11th? I was 13th, or something like that.
12th and 13th.
12th and 13th.
Yep.
So we were just outside the top 10, but, knocking on the door. Let's just start off with your, how was your Tri-County racing experience? I mean, you had you started off a little on the slower side in practice. You were worried about your car a little bit, but ended up turning around pretty good. Ended up pretty good qualifying spot and all that good stuff. So let's hear about your weekend.
Yeah, qualifying shocked the shit out of me. I'm just gonna tell you. I mean, I was happy with it, but at first I wanted to make sure that they had the right time. I mean, because I didn't really know what we were gonna do, and turned out, couple hundreds, we ended up ninth. A couple hundreds, we would have been fifth or sixth. I mean,
right.
And ninth's nothing to hold your head about. So, but Friday, aside from the hailstorm, which was insane.
Yeah, it did come a storm.
You and I shared some similar ghosts/gremlins. Both of us had clutch issues.
Mm-hmm.
So we dealt with that and got that finally figured out. So, the car didn't drive bad either day. Just fought a little bit of drive off and didn't have any speed. I mean, none. And so we finally decided to slap tires on it, make a mock run, and ran a 50-something and wasn't, obviously wasn't happy with that. But once everybody else made their mocks, like I think between the 2 days, we did the math, we were like P7, from, overall of people who made a mock run.
Right.
So we were like, well, maybe we're not as, clearly we do need some raw speed, but we're not as out to lunch as we thought. So
right.
Like I said, qualifying, come around and went out fairly early like yourself. But, was able to hold on to ninth. And so that gave me some optimism for the race, and we fired off and we were okay. For probably the first half, I'd say, of that first green flag run.
Right.
We started fighting drive off pretty early on in the race and ended up falling back to like 17th. And we finally came in and pitted. And I think we were going to be okay because I had plenty of turn. I actually moved down to like the middle, and I could run the middle pretty good. I started running the group back down that had passed me. Right before the second competition caution, and felt pretty good about it, but wanted to come and make a change. I was like, I'm not sure, I can't just be, I was like, we can't be, strictly have to run the middle,
right.
if we're going to go forward here, because I knew after that one, it was going to be throw her to the wind and everybody drop the hammer and get after it.
Yeah.
So we pitted, and I got to join in right there behind you. And me and you got to race for a corner, and we drove around through a Times Square roadblock.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. That was the last I seen of you.
Yeah. Dylon has the greatest brake system of all time in Cars Tour competition and was able to pull a matrix and get woed up and watch all the rest of our dumbasses pile off in there.
Yeah, I promise you it ain't great brakes because I've had them some bitches on there for about a year, so it's just pure talent. I don't know what else to say. Seen that shit coming from a mile away. No, I'm just fucking with you. I don't know. I just happened to see it, I guess, right in time, and my dirt rally driving experience on iRacing came into play, but flat spotted the mother F out of my tires and was shaking. Damn wheel.
I was gonna say that
my wheel was like this the rest of the race.
Your left front looked like it smoked, looking like a John Force burnout, but it wasn't spinning; it was sliding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things. But anyway, my deal was, I wouldn't say we felt really good about it in practice, but judging by being on old tires and stuff, I felt okay. I was within the like couple of tenths of some of the really good cars, and knew that we had some pretty old rubbers on it, so it wasn't too necessarily chasing. I was trying not to chase the clock much, but it's so hard not to, because like I mean, I can't totally rely on my feel right now because I've raced there an entire total of 2 times in my entire life. So like, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to really know exactly what a perfect car at Tri-County feels like. I've never raced a local race there. I don't know. I've maybe, you don't really get many opportunities to pass a whole lot of cars in the car store, especially this year. I mean, last year I got to but last year we ran the top and I passed everybody up top. This year, we sucked on the bottom the first race, and I couldn't do absolutely anything. This time around, like I said, felt okay about it. Qualified, you know, pretty shitty. I mean, I thought it would be better than it was, but I did kind of overdrive it the first lap. Second lap was my quick time, and most everybody's fast lap was their first one. So I just kind of overdrove a little bit and probably put us 5 or 6 positions further back than we should have been. So we ended up 24th. Started the race. I think was there 30 cars that started, 30, 31?
Damn, brother.
Yeah.
29 or 30. 29
Yeah,
or
somewhere
30.
right in that range. And we, I started off way too, well, I wouldn't say way too free. I would get tight on exit when I was on the top, especially in traffic, and then when I would go to the bottom, I would just be really tight entry to center, and I knew I was scrubbing my right front off, so I was trying to sort of run middle, just to keep it neutral, and not get anything too hot. That way, maybe at the end when a few cars wreck, I'll be there. So I was kind of in a way, kind of Tri-County saving, if that makes sense. More than anything, just trying to keep temp out of my tires, avoiding some wrecks. I knew I didn't have a great car. Because the cars that I knew I was quicker than, I couldn't get around them because I was too free on throttle on exit, and it was way too hard for me. It was a damn job to pass, 2 cars. So that sucked, and I couldn't really make up the difference. I couldn't find any line that worked really good for me. So went a lap down the first 40 lap deal, and then went another lap down the second one. Just couldn't get. I mean, to be fair, Butterbean was hauling ass too, so I would go a lap down pretty fast. It was strung out. Nobody was really racing from first to 10th. So when you're running 26th and they're 4 wide in front of you, but the 5 leaders have a clear track and they're running single file, they get you pretty quick, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay on the damn lead lap. I mean, it is. It sounds stupid. Never, obviously, especially when you're not very good, it's easy to go a lap down, but it was tough. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I was driving my ass off just to try to stay on the lead lap, and I usually don't have to do that. So back to the drawing board. I made some bad calls. Expected it to have way more grip than it did. The only way I could put up a lap time during practice was to free the center up, and as soon as I got to the race, the center was way too free. So I'm gonna have to figure out if I'm gonna have it. Why am I setting my car up to qualify when we qualified 20th anyway? I don't know. I mean, I need to pay more attention to shit like that. And it's just stuff that I haven't had to deal with in my racing career and stuff that I'm learning on the fly. It's frustrating.
Right.
I know that as a team, we're capable of running top 10. I mean, I know we could do it right now. We could do it at Caraway in 2 weeks, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. I know we did it all year last year. I mean, we were the threat for the top 10 everywhere. So, at least the couple of races I ran, but it's just it sucks. It sucks to deal with it, and like I said, it's kind of been the same old song, and I'm sick of singing it. I'm ready to turn some things around. I mean, obviously we're at the end of the year now, but a lot of it has to do with me. I'm learning what I need to make, what I need to adjust. My dad can set a car up, but he can only set it up for he can't read my mind. I've got to be able to tell him things, ahead of time and know how it's going to trend. And the minimal amount of laps I have at this point has just kicked my ass this year. I haven't been able to do that in a hurry, especially in a different car, and all that good stuff. So I'm getting there. It's frustrating. I mean, I'm not depressed over it. It's just I've acknowledged what I have to get better at. It ain't gonna happen overnight. I don't expect to run top 5 or top 10 anymore, but I do expect to run better than I did at Tri-County. And it was annoying. I don't know how else to explain it. I ain't had to work that hard to pass 2 cars in my life ever. And I guess Gio Ruggiero doesn't drink beer because he ran me the hell over off of 4 one time, and my back bumper says drink more. There's a picture of him with me jacked up. It says drink more beer on the back. So I guess Gio don't like beer. I don't know. He must have not liked that message, but that was pretty funny. I thought about tweeting it, but I figured somebody might think I was like actually talking shit. I'm literally joking about it, but
yeah,
what it is. But I thought it was funny because there's a picture of a Mobil 1 car with my left rear in the air. And it says drink more beer, but I think he probably just got loose or something. But nonetheless, it was a very uneventful race other than missing a couple of wrecks. I mean, I slid in there like a damn, like I was rally racing basically. But it was the car did stop though. I was proud of that. I was proud to show all the non-believers that I do in fact know how to use brakes despite Langley, and even though
got to have a laugh at my dumbass.
Yeah, I seen Brandon, he was parallel with my eyeballs peripherally, and then all of a sudden I just seen a crunch and a bunch of steam. I'm like, uh-oh, there he goes. That ain't good. But to be fair, I mean, we had just pitted, we were both on the last row, and the restart just happened, and we were right at the tail of the field, and goddamn, sure enough, it happened right in front of us. The worst possible scenario for a podcast happened right in front of us.
Yeah.
Only thing that would have made it better if I'd have nosed it in there too, and we'd have both got out and been like, "Son of a bitch." That would have probably been an all-time photo.
Dylan was worried I was gonna totally just turn a hard left, like he wasn't there, and we were both gonna probably go head on in the inside wall.
No, I kind of expected you. I kind of figured it. I seen, you had Minnie in front of you. I didn't have a car directly in front of me. So, I mean, you can kind of see, like in that video, I'm trying to ease down, but Rob got a great video of it. He was standing outside of 4, yeah. So you can see both of our shit just smoking like hell, trying to get it woed down. Like I said, I had a car. I didn't have a car in front of me. You had Minnie's. You said you could see what gear he was running. He was so far up under his ass by the time. Yeah. So, yeah, it was that was, I guess, the if there was any good out of it, it was a pretty cool video. But the race didn't go great for me. I'm, like I said, still learning, man. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't feel like you really have to learn as much about how to drive the car. It's not that hard to drive. It's just learning the setup and how to make it as fast as these other fast sumbitches that are out there. Because I'm telling you, people can say what they want, but there's a reason there ain't many local guys that show up for these Cars Tour races anymore. And everybody knows what that reason is. So I'm just a local guy that's following the Cars Tour. I wouldn't consider myself a Cars Tour caliber driver at this point. I got a lot more to learn, but at least not a full timer. I mean, I never held some local races or local tracks I know, but all these tracks are new to me, so I've just never had to do this. Still learning, but I'm tired of making excuses. I've went to all these tracks now, so I should be able to pick up on things a little bit faster from here on out, and hopefully I can implement that at Caraway a little bit here in a couple weeks. But am I looking forward to Caraway? Not really. Do I wish it was Do I wish it was a different track to finish the year? Yes, but that's part of the deal. Caraway, it's also going to be shared with the modified tour, right?
North-South Shootout.
North-South Shootout is at Caraway, the same day as the Cars Tour race.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that's a hell of a tandem event. It just seems like a lot of cars and a lot of shit going on, and I guess that's just because of you want to have a good crowd there. But they had a good crowd last time. Kyle Larson was there, and that helped the crowd. There's a
picture of him having my back bumper in the air.
Yeah. Well, that I didn't race that one, but I did go practice, so I do have laps at Caraway there this year, but in a different car. But nonetheless, Kyle raced there, and the crowd turnout was huge. They had an autograph session, all that, because of Kyle being there.
Yep.
And so this time, I'm excited to see how that compares. I'm assuming it'll probably not be the same. Obviously, Kyle Larson's a big crowd draw, but the modified deal is a pretty big draw too. How many cars do they have for the North-South Shootout?
Shit, dude. I really don't know. I actually went on Caraway's website at work today during
So
my lunch hour,
did they?
trying to see.
Was that happening
Go ahead.
last year at Caraway?
Yeah, we raced the same. Yeah,
Oh, huh. I don't know why I don't remember it being like the north south shootout.
yeah,
Car
they
Store
run it on the
Championship
same.
night should. I mean, that should be its own thing. That should be its own marquee event by itself, not necessarily modifieds.
Yep.
Because I don't think modifieds and late models are typically, not always, but typically not the same group of fans. Typically, they're not. It's almost like saying dirt late model fans versus dirt sprint car fans.
Yeah.
Same but different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And mostly a lot of northerner modified fans for sure versus late model stocks.
Bunch of
Yanks, but badass race cars, badass racing. I'm just saying it's a the car store could probably at this point have its own standalone season finale, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's not implemented at some point, but who knows?
Yeah.
It is frustrating, I guess, because it's like 4 days of practice availability, right? Like
Well, you can. I think it's just Thursday. Wednesday is optional parking.
Well, it's optional. Oh, so you can just go park at Wednesday.
Wednesday's optional parking. Thursday's optional practice.
Okay, and then
Which
Friday
would be the normal,
is required practice and qualifying.
And we just raced Saturday. That's correct, my friend.
Yeah. Well, it's still an extra day.
Oh, I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, it's still an extra day. So now I have to drive up to Caraway 3 different times.
No, you don't have to.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got to go practice or I'm going to finish 30th.
Yeah, but no, you're bitching about having to drive. And
no. I have to drive to Caraway.
Have a friend.
Well, I know, but
and fellow podcast mate that you could not drive back.
Yeah.
To the other side of the freaking world.
I'm just finding a reason to bitch. I'm feeling angst tonight. I feel like I'm feeling.
It is deer season.
It's deer. That's the problem.
My grill works, so I can totally make some pretty good deer meat Thursday night, and you save yourself a trip back to old Taylorsville.
I could make that happen. I do have a pregnant wife though, so we'll see how that happens. See how that works out. It could be deterred.
Well, you can go back home Friday night.
Yeah, I don't know, but still, man. God dang it, we'll end up drinking too much beer.
It ain't. Beer season is only on the weekend. If we're week drinking, we're drinking the L bourbon.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with L bourbon. That's what I'm having now. What are you drinking tonight?
A little bit of vodka.
A little bit of vodka?
Yeah.
Mixing it with anything?
You already know the answer to that. You're going to tell our viewers that I'm a psycho because I don't use ice.
La Croix or bubbly?
Tonight I think was bubbly. I think that's what the old wife had the fridge stocked with.
Yeah. Well, deer season is coming up. I'm excited about deer season. Especially after bringing the camper up there and all that good stuff. It really, we actually brought my camper up there, and when I came home with it, all the leaves had fell down. I think we initiated fall here in our area. As soon as that camper went down the road, it knocked all the trees, knocked all the leaves down. So I think it has something to do with the weather in
absolutely
this part of the state. It's just
it was colder than shit this morning down here. I don't know about up Taylorsville, but all Walkertown, she was brisk.
You're up, we're down, dude.
Well, yeah.
So that screws me up. Well, I guess technically
was it cold this morning or not?
Yeah, it's cold as shit.
Okay.
Hell yeah, it's cold. It was cold here, and you know what? Our golf tournament. We forgot to talk about our golf tournament results on last podcast. We had a golf tournament coming up.
Benny Parsons Memorial.
We played in the Benny Parsons Memorial Golf Tournament, and we finished roughly 30th out of 60 with a score of -6 in a 4-man Captain's Choice tournament. It was a pretty eventful day. We played okay. We had we played pretty shitty, but it was a hard course, and everybody only got. Did we even have skirts?
One, right?
It was like
hit one.
It was like something
one
like that.
1 skirt and 2 mulligan.
Yeah, something like that. Did you hit off of a skirt?
I did.
I've done it so many times now. I've like because I played again the other day when we went 10 under and we had 2 skirts.
Right.
Each. But it was a crazy ass course. That's an awesome golf course that we need to go rent an Airbnb by. Go have some drinks at like there's like a local winery spot, or we can go to like some kind of I don't know, I'm sure there's breweries around there somewhere. And play some golf at that place, like in West Jefferson. So Mountain Air Golf Club, for those wondering. It's a really nice area. This time of year the trees look incredible. So I became a big fan of that. I've talked about that twice on this podcast now. I've started to trying to enjoy the little things in life more. Like the season's changing, and I'm a little bit excited right now that I don't have a ton of mowing to do anymore.
Yeah, that's the sore.
But I'm gonna start missing it though. I'm gonna start missing it.
That's a sore subject with me right now.
Wow, what'd you do?
I had a you moment.
Whoa. You run something over? Uh-oh.
Let's just say that my yard has 2 downspouts that run under the concrete sidewalk from the gutters to the yard.
Yeah.
And the other day, I told my lovely wife that I no longer was able to see one of the downspout pipes out in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So upon some digging and having to run a mini pond in our yard to find where the buried downspout line was, I found it. So the moral of the story is I buried it by running it over with the mower deck.
Oh.
And caused a shit show in the yard.
You'll have
it looks like we've had an absolute family of groundhogs out in the middle of our yard.
Well, sometimes, yard accidents happen. I've been through that. I've been through the ringer. We've talked about that on this show. If we've had some yard accidents.
I didn't cause any fire hydrant miss, but it was close.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you'll have it. Other than, I guess, the last couple of things that I want to talk. Well, is there anything that you need to get off your chest before I transition this into the end of the show?
I just want to give a shout out to Stephen Nassy. It was cool for him to come out and race.
Oh, that's right. Stephen Nassy was there. Big time super late model driver. He was racing in the car store, late model stock race, which is neat and brave, and ran good too. Where'd he finish?
He did. I think he got top 5, didn't he?
I think he finished 5th or 6th. I think it was 5th. But anyway, ran great. Ran great. Was fast all day. Ran. Was a threat to even win the race, and if Butterbean wasn't there, he probably would have had a good, he'd been an even higher favorite. But it was dominated by the 03 car. There was a couple, and he also had a great car at the damn earlier one this year. Almost won it, but ran out of gas. So it wasn't that surprising that he was very good. I don't think anybody was too surprised by it. The Landon, he won the 30K race earlier this year. He backed it up with a P3 finish, so another good run for him there at Tri-County. I'm sure it's becoming one of his favorite racetracks. I think he's racing there this weekend even, so a lot going on. The Rodney Cook Memorial is this weekend on Friday, I believe, right? Or Saturday. So I think it's on Saturday. Or Sunday even.
We've got something big happening on Friday. So
Friday we have my gender reveal party for my child to be. I don't know. We don't know what it's going to be yet. Me and Allie obviously don't know. We find out at the same time as all my friends and family, so that'll be an experience on its own. Excited for that, but also extremely nervous for that. So it's just one of those things. I don't know how to. I ain't never had to see what the gender of my child's going to be, so I don't know how I'll react. But we'll see. Do you have any predictions?
I'm going to withstand from making those at this moment.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All I hope for is a healthy child, whichever sex you guys decide to have. I know what my preference would be, but I don't want to sound like a selfish asshole. Either way, I know it's going to end up spoiled by me and my wife. So
Yeah, I don't know. I
Just,
don't necessarily have any feelings. I mean, I think that every guy
I also can
thinks that they'll
say
have a
that
boy.
there's probably a better outcome for the child if it's a certain sex as well for you and I,
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
because
Yeah, for sure. If it's a girl, it's gonna be a
otherwise,
whole lot better off. If
yeah,
it's a
if it's
boy, then we're probably gonna do some hell raising. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously extremely excited to find out. I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't even have a clue. Like there's no. How do you prepare for something like that? I have no idea. I've already thought about like it'll probably be. I mean, I'm gonna imagine it'll be. You don't think it is. You think you're just excited to figure it out, but it'll probably be extremely emotional too.
oh,
And
100%,
I'm
absolutely,
extremely
man.
nervous about that because I'm not. I don't. I'm not that type. I don't cry in front of people. So my mind is like constantly going all the time. Like I can't think about
Yeah,
anything else.
right.
Trying to figure out what it is or what. It's just one of those things. I don't know. Only a few more days. The next time we do a podcast, I'm gonna know what type of or what gender, not what type of kid, what gender, what gender of child I'm gonna have. So
Yeah,
this is life inside of BTAR. Everyone, welcome to stuff other than racing. Sometimes we do talk a little bit about that, but that's only for these long episodes. But yeah, gender reveal party Friday night. You guys, I will make it known in the public probably soon after that. So Friday night, get your phones out. Make y'all's predictions if you want to. If anybody's listening, I'd love to hear it. We'll find out Friday. We're really excited, really nervous, and we're gonna find out if we're gonna have us a future golfer, race car driver, or golfer, softball player, or whatever. Whatever they want to be, artist,
yeah,
singer. If they sing anything like me, they probably got a good chance for a career in singing.
yeah.
I'd say that. Or gaming. Pretty good gamer.
Yeah.
Cigar smoking. I can smoke the hell
A
out
little
of
bit
some
of
cigars.
help.
Yeah, so anyway, really excited. And at this point, I'm just rambling because I'm still extremely nervous about it. But I appreciate you guys letting me have diarrhea of the mouth for the last hour in your ears, and also for listening. I'd like to give a special shout out to Two Burrows Brewery. For those in the area that would like a good Oktoberfest brew, if you're into that kind of thing, they just came out with their new Oktoberfest.
Is that
It's
going to
really
be at
good.
Is that going to be at the gender reveal?
What's that?
Oktoberfest.
No. Well, it's going to be at the gender reveal. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there'll be plenty of Oktoberfest at the gender reveal for sure. That'll
I
be the
still
main
have not.
course.
I still have not tried it.
Yeah, very good stuff. Makes a nice cold brew for the for the fall weather for sure, and pumpkin time and all that. It's that time of year, trick or treating. We will talk next time we talk to you guys. It'll also be post Halloween, so we will have some cool stories, I'm sure, to tell. I guess you guys also seen the new paint scheme. I didn't really address that, but yeah, it's the Oktoberfest scheme. Looks really cool. Nice and bright. Went back to the neon orange colors. It was a pretty simple choice of wrap. I just wanted the same orange I've always used. Just wanted it glossy, and I wanted some matte black and a little bit of cream in there. So Brandon seen this a while ago. He kind of knew it was coming, but we did have a new paint scheme. That is my third paint scheme of the year, I guess. So, well, technically fourth, because I did run my old car one time. So I have ran a few different paint schemes throughout this year, which is kind of a rarity. How many have you been through? 3 or 2? I just 2 technically. Well, no, 3 because the Crossroads and Thunder Roads one, and then Grand Atlantic.
Yep.
Yeah,
May
no
have
doubt.
a fourth.
Oh shit! You have maybe a new car for the last race.
For the Florence, maybe.
Oh, okay. For Florence.
Yeah.
Florence.
TBD.
Right. TBD on the Florence car. But anyway, man, it's been fun talking to you. I guess we'll get off here and finish our drinks and try to get this video edited and uploaded so you guys can hear it. Again, thanks to Burrows Brewery for keeping me fed and indulged in alcohol, and everybody else has supported us throughout this year. We've got one more race episode left, and then probably a few off-season antics episodes and all sorts of good stuff. So stay tuned. Again, appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you guys next time on Bedtime Auto Racing.